Golf can be a really complicated sport. While it may seem very simple in the basic concept of golf, it's actually very difficult to learn how to swing the club. Over the past couple of years, I've been practicing on my own. By no means am I an expert, but I have learned at least the correct way to start swinging a golf club. There are different techniques and ways to hold clubs that you have to do to get the best out of your swing. A lot of people that play baseball or softball in the past struggle with actually swinging the golf club the correct way because they're so used to here instead of coming down through here. So first, we're going to start off with the driver. So this is your driver. To start off with about any club, you want to grab with your dominant hand here, thumb straight out. And then you would take your non-dominant hand and you want to meet your thumb right at the back of your other thumb. Now, another way that I've been told how to do it is to also take the gap between your pinky and use your index finger and put it right in that slot to hold it to where you have a tighter grip on there. Now, when you're getting ready to swing with your driver, you want to start with your left foot lined up right with the ball. And then you want your stance to be about square with your hips and your shoulders. So when you're coming in here, you want to be right about here. And then when you have your club and you're holding it, like we just said, you want to keep your left arm straight. So you want to be sitting like right about here. And then you want to make sure that your knees are bent just a little bit, not a lot. You don't want to have a whole squat. You just want to be sitting about right here. So then when you actually go to swing, you want to come straight back here. And you don't want to go super high, so right about here. And then when you come back through and you make contact with the ball, you want to stop about right here. You don't want to go full back this way because then you'll lose control of the ball and your follow through is very essential until where the ball is going to go. So that's your driver, and that's also basically how you hold about every club. But there are some differences between different types of clubs and how you would stand and kind of swing. So this is an iron, this is a 6 iron. Based on the power, so the lower the number, the more power it's supposed to have. So the more power you have, the more to the left you want to be. Like your driver, you'd start with your left foot with the golf ball, and you would just move it a little bit in for each iron. So this is a 6 iron, so you probably want to just be not too far to the left, but just maybe right about there. And then same thing, square with your hips and your shoulders. And then because you're not hitting off of the tee for this club, you would necessarily have to hit it perfectly. You do more of a sweep of the ground when you're coming through. So that's your irons. And then for the wedges, you want to be more center, complete center with the ball. I even saw that you may even want to have it like lined up right with your nose or even your zipper. So you want to be right about in the middle, same thing, holding your club with your thumbs, knees bent a little bit. And this one is your essential scoop when you're coming to swing the wedge, because you want the trajectory to go up and then come back down. You don't want it to roll really too much. The reason why you would want to move and make sure that you're lined up with the ball differently based off your club is because of the trajectory of the descending location. So like wherever it is when it's coming back down. So if the ball were to meet here, or if you're back here, if the ball's to meet here, for the different clubs, it sends it to a different direction, or not direction, but distance. So then lastly, you have your putter. And this is probably the thing that most people are familiar with. So for your putter, you have these lines on here to line up your putt. This is to help when you're lining up your putt to follow, there's kind of like dips and hills on greens so that way you can line up and follow those those hills and those dips. So when you're putting, you kind of are able to move the ball. So there's like markings on the ball. So if you spin it to where that line would line up with your line, it makes it easier to actually be able to hit the ball with your putter, because you have something to kind of match with your eye. So with the putter, same thing, you can hold it either the same way you hold your other clubs like that, or there's actually a claw technique, which is like this, to where you have more stability with it and more control. It's based off of preference, really, how you want to hold it, but those are two different ways that you could hold it. So you could either do like kind of the claw method like this, or you could just do the standard like this. And you want to be right on top of the ball, and you want to make sure that your head is right directly over the ball, so that way you can line up those lines exactly how you're supposed to line up the lines. And so then you also want to kind of make sure that your feet are closer together. You don't want to have that stance outwards like that. You want to be close to right about here. You want to be right over the ball, and make sure that line is lined up. So wherever you're trying to hit to, you're going to get it to the right area. So those are essentially all the clubs and how you would hold them. Now that we putt through on the 18th hole, this is everything that I know about swinging the golf club correctly.